All right, welcome back to our second series of videos about 5/3 chords versus 6/3 chords. In the first video, we talked about 5/3 chords, our do, fa, sol chords, saw how they line up with overtones, saw how they match up with the notes of our scale. Let's take a look now at 6/3 chords. Let's go to the whiteboard. I left up the 5/3 points of stability. Well, 6/3 chords aren't going to be as stable, and we tend to like them on unstable notes. And you can hear this when you sing through like a bass line. For example, let's set this as a do, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, sol, do, ti. You hear that the T is unstable. It doesn't want to stay there. It wants to move. Either back to do, ti, do, or do, ti, la. You hear that la is also unstable, and it would want to push at that point. Do, ti, la, sol. And there we've arrived at some place that's stable. Or do, mi. You hear that mi already wants to move. Fa, do, mi, fa, sol, do. And the mi was a chord, was a note of motion. You could hear it wanted to move. The do was stable, the mi wanted to move to the fa, sol, do, and through our birdland bass there. And so our notes, we have here 6/3 chords. Grab my marker. 6/3 chords imply motion. 6/3 chords want to move. And that's because they're less stable than 5 chords are. And we put this on our mi, we put it on our la, and we put it on our ti. These are all things that want to move. Sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol. Or do, la is unstable, wanting to move to sol. And so we tend to often put 6/3 chords on these. Now let's see what happens in the key of C major. Our mi is E, our la is A, our T is B. Let's compare the overtones of these bass notes to the notes that actually show up in the chord, and you'll be able to see how unstable these are. So E, if I'm going off of overtones, I should have my perfect fifth, I should have my octave, I should have my major third. These are the notes that would be sounding over an E. Now already in the key of C major, we notice that note doesn't belong. That's not part of the key. And so mi is already unstable just because of the fact that its overtones don't line up with our key. If I plug in a 6/3 chord above the E, this would be an E5 plus 3, I guess is how I would write it. But if we do our 6/3 here, notice E up a sixth is a C. I can always double my octave. And an E up a third is in the key of C major. We would get our G. So you notice there's a little bit of a clash here. There's a clash here. Two clashes between the overtones. The only thing that's mashing up with the overtones is the octave itself. And so this creates a sense of instability or a sense of motion as things want to move and they want to resolve. Similarly, if I set up an A and compare my 6/3 chord in the key of A major, or not A major, C major, A 6/3 chord, La 6/3, then again the overtones up a perfect fifth, it should have an E, it should have an A, and up the major third, it should have a C sharp. And again, you already see that C sharp is outside the key, and so already we've got an inherent conflict with the key, thinking of the overtones above an A. And then we add in the notes of a 6/3. We have F, A, and C. And again, you can see this conflict here between the overtones and the notes of the chord. And that provides a sense of instability. Same thing with our B. B would have an F sharp, perfect fifth, the octave, and the major third, D sharp. Ooh, look at this. Neither F sharp nor D sharp are in the key of C, so B is super unstable as a bass note. in the key of C. But then I put my 6/3 on here, and B up a 6 is G, my octave, and my third is a D. So again, I've got these displacements from what I would normally expect to have in the key and what I have in the overtones. And so the 6/3 chords are chords of instability, chords of motion. One other thing you need to know about 6/3 chords, and you need to know this for transferring, is you need to be able to talk about Roman numerals. 5/3 chords are easy. The Roman numeral of the 5/3 chord is the scale degree of the note in the bass. So, you know, Do 5/3 is our first scale degree, so it's a 1. Fa 5/3 is our fourth scale degree, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, so it's a 4. Sol 5/3 is the fifth scale degree, so it's a 5. And so for 5/3 chords, it's really easy. The note itself, whatever number it is in the scale, is the Roman numeral. 6/3 chords gets a little bit trickier here. So let's just compare here. Let's put up our solfege of the E 6/3 or the Mi 6/3. That's a Do. That's a Mi. That's a Sol. And so if you see the notes Do, Mi, and Sol together, those are the same notes that were back there in the Do 5/3 chord. The Do 5/3 and the Mi 6/3 have the same pitches between them. That's why Rameau thinks they're the same chord. That's why you're going to have to use the same Roman numeral for them. And we just proved that there's a big difference between Do 5/3, which is stable, and Mi 6/3, which is unstable and clashes with its overtones. But in Ramellian theory, they have the same notes, so they're the same chord. So the Mi 6/3 is a 1/6. We'll come back and learn the rule about translating those into Roman numerals in just a moment. FAC, F is our Fa, A is our La. This is a La 6/3 chord. And of course that's our Do there. Fa, La, and Do, that's our 4 chord. That's the same pitches as the Fa, La, Do, the Fa 5/3. And so this has the same pitches. Notice that I'm taking that 6/3, abbreviating it as 6, and just attaching the figured bass to the Roman numeral. And shortcuts, if I don't write anything, we assume that a 5/3 is just, if I don't write anything, we assume it's a 5/3. And 6/3, we assume there's a third there. So if I don't write the third, I can just leave that blank, and a 6 is a shortcut for a 6/3 chord, so 1, 6, 4, 6. If I come over here, Sol, T, Re, those are the same notes as that Sol 5/3 chord, the 5 chord, so this is going to be a 5 chord as well, Sol, T, and Re. And then I just take that 6/3 and copy it down, except I don't need to have the third there. I can just abbreviate it to 5, 6. So what you see here is that consistently Mi is the third scale degree. If I drop down a third though, drop down a third from Mi down a third is Do, and that's my Roman numeral 1. La, drop down a third to Fa, which is the fourth scale degree, and so this is Roman numeral 4. T, or T 6/3 chord, again, drop down a third from the T gives you Sol, and Sol's scale degree number 5. And so the way to figure out the Roman numeral for any 6/3 chord is take the bass note and just drop it down a third, and that's the Roman numeral you're going to use. And then just put your figured bass on the end of it, 6/3, and there you go. The last video of this series, we're going to see how to use these things and do a little practice in inquisitive.